Hello everyone. Today's joke of the day is what do you call a boomerang that won't come back? Stay tuned to find out. Our learning target for today is I can determine if two lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so quickly to review, remember that parallel lines have slopes that are the same or equal. Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite reciprocals. Okay, so you have to flip and change the sign. Flip the fraction and change the sign to find the slope of perpendicular lines. So now we're going to look at some sets of lines and determine if these lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so this is our first set of lines here. We have y equals negative 3x plus 5 and y equals 1/3 x plus 10. So the only thing that we're worrying about here is our slopes. Okay, so our slopes are negative 3 and 1/3. So we have to determine, well, first of all, we can say that we know that they're not parallel because if they were parallel, the slopes would be the same. Okay, now let's check to see if they're perpendicular. So 1/3, the opposite reciprocal, would be 3 over 1, and then make it negative. Well, negative 3 over 1 is negative 3, so these lines are perpendicular. These lines are perpendicular because their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Okay, let's look at this next example. Now this one, we have one equation written in slope-intercept form, so we know that our slope of this one is negative 2. But we don't know the slope of this other line. Okay, so we have to rewrite this equation into slope-intercept form. All right, in order to do that, we're going to subtract the 2x from both sides. And we're going to end up with y equals negative 2x plus 6. And now we can figure out that the slope of this line is also negative 2, so these lines are parallel. All right, here's another example. We have y equals 2x minus 10, so we know our slope is going to be 2x minus 10. And then we have x minus 2y equals 6. So again, we have to rewrite this equation into slope-intercept form by subtracting x from both sides. Okay, that leaves us with a negative 2y on the left side, and then a negative x plus 6 on the right-hand side. And then our final step is we need to divide every term by negative 2. So we're going to end up with y equals, we have an invisible 1 here in front of our x, so we have negative 1 over negative 2. We can simplify that to positive 1/2 x because the negatives will cancel out. And then 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3, so we'd subtract 3. So now we have a slope for this one. We have a slope of 1/2, positive 1/2. Okay, so since this is a positive 1/2, now let's look and see if positive 1/2 and 2, right? Well, the opposite reciprocal of 1/2 would be 2 over 1 and then make it negative. Okay, so this would really be negative 2. So these lines are not parallel or perpendicular. So we're going to write that these are neither. Okay, they're neither parallel or perpendicular. All right, one more example. Okay, in this last one, we have to be careful here because we don't really see a slope, but remember every time we don't see a number as our coefficient, we know that that's an invisible 1. Okay, so we have negative 1 and 1. All right, so let's see if these are opposite reciprocals. Okay, so negative 1 as a fraction is negative 1 over 1. So if we're going to flip that, right, it's going to be 1 over negative 1, but then we change the sign, make it positive, right? And 1 over 1 is just 1. Okay, so negative 1 and 1 are opposite reciprocals, which means that these lines are perpendicular. Okay, so these lines are perpendicular. All right, so to figure out if two lines are parallel or perpendicular, you just have to look at their slopes. Remember, you need to sometimes rewrite that equation into slope-intercept form if you cannot read the slope already. And so for today's joke of the day, what do you call a boomerang that won't come back? A stick. Thanks for watching and have a great day.